Alright, go ahead and open up your Internet Explorer and go to gns3.net. And from there, you go to the download section, and you can go ahead and click on the GNS3 all-in-one installer and say no to the updates. And when it starts to download, you can choose the path to download it to. Desktop's the best choice. And this should take just a minute. So at this point, it is wrapping up here. Alright, so go ahead and choose Run and click Next. Just say you agree. Choose where to save it to. It's just a lot of nexts here. So we're going to be installing GNS3, WinPCAP, and Wireshark. WinPCAP gets installed first. If you already have it installed, then you can just go ahead and click Agree, and then when it says it's already installed, you can click on Cancel. So right here, we're going to say no, we don't, and then it's going to say installation aborted, so you can click Cancel, or you can run through the install, or you can let it uninstall the old one, put the new one on, your choice. Alright, it installs Wireshark, but it's going to see that Wireshark's already installed. So in this case, we just reinstall it. And here. Alright. And it's going to ask for PCAP again, but we're going to say no because we already have it installed. And this should run through very quickly. Okay, when this is done, it should start GNS3 install. Okay, click Finish, and here's the GNS3 setup. Okay, this is finishing up here. Go ahead and click Next to complete the installation. You can put in an email address in there if you want, and it'll send you updates, and they promise never to spam you. I doubt it. Your choice. Go ahead and click on Next. And then you click on Finish, and it'll start GNS3 for you. Alright. So we got to do 3 configuration steps to get it running here. So the first thing you're going to do is, well, let's make sure that we have an iOS. Alright. Now the iOS you're going to need is going to be a real Cisco iOS. It only supports 3700, I believe 3800, 2600, and I think 6500. So let's go ahead and check our drive and see if we can find it. Alright, I was able to find it. So we're going to go down to 3725 here. We're going to make sure it's a 12.4T version of the iOS, which is required for some certain operations. Go ahead and choose Configure now, and we're going to go in here and make sure that the path that we're going to we know where it is. And we just go ahead and click on, I'm just going to copy it, but go ahead and click on Apply here. It's going to ask us if we want to create the projects directory, which we will. And here we go. Alright, so click on OK here. And then we do a check of the Dynamips and see if it's working. So it's telling us where it is located right now. We just go ahead and test settings. And this takes a second or two. It starts thinking and tells us Dynamips is working correctly. Alright. Now click on Apply or OK, and then go to step 3. And this is the iOS images setup. So go ahead and click on 3. And this is where we have to make sure that we have the iOS in the proper place. So we're going to head and copy this. And we're going to go to our C drive, where it is located. I believe it's in, I copied the wrong thing. Let's see, I believe it was in C drive, users, there it is, okay. So we're just going to go ahead and browse to it. Administrator, GNS3, images, alright, just paste it there. And close that window out. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we just go ahead and we browse to the image file. Yes, we want to uncompress it. Alright, so next thing we need to do is we need to do a auto calculation for idle PC settings. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on auto calculation. Alright. And you'll see it said experimental here, but from all the experience I've had, it works very well, the auto idle PC calculation. Alright, so we just give this a minute. Let's do it starting up a router in the background in a virtual environment and testing it out to make sure it's just working properly. Alright, almost there. And you may see your screen lock up a little bit while it's doing this, and that's because it's trying to see how much juice it can use from your processor. Alright, looks good. Click on close. Alright, so it put some settings in there for us. We're just going to accept what they did. And you can click on that there, and you can see that that's the default image, but we can use different images here too. We can add new images for the 3700 voice or security or whatnot, and we can choose which one we use by default if we wish to, but this is the only one we're going to install right now. Alright, so we click on close here.
Recording started. Recording started.
Alright, so we've got everything done here. Now we click on OK.
Recording started.
Okay. So,
Recording started.
now what we can do is we go to the Edit and System Preferences. And here, if you wish to use a terminal emulator besides PuTTY, you can choose Secure CRT or Terra Terminal or something else. Super PuTTY is another one. For this demonstration, I'm just going to use PuTTY, but personally, I use Secure CRT. It's pretty powerful and has some nice options. So, let's see here. You can look at the other options in here where you could capture from Wireshark. You could set up a virtual box, which would let you connect to set up a virtual PC or some kind of appliance to use with your virtual environment. But so let's go ahead and click on a router and then choose the router and click on one and drag it over there. What we can also do is we can click on it while holding Shift and drag over, and it'll allow us to create multiple at the same time. You choose them in a circle or a line and just click on OK. And it'll pop up a bunch of them out there. And you can hit the zoom out to zoom out a little bit to make it a little bit easier here. And let's just arrange them a little bit here and go ahead and look at the settings here a little bit. You can't change anything in general. You can change the memory if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You can add fast Ethernet or a 16 port switch for a router module. There's a few different things you can do in here. But most likely for routing, you're going to want to add some serial ports, so you can want to add a WIC 2T. You can add multiple WIC ports. You can put a WIC 2T in each of the WIC slots, but I'm only going to put one. You may want to put in all 6 serial ports if you're doing a lab on frame relay switching. You're going to probably need to put some more ports in there. But in this case, and you don't want to mess with this. That's your config, and that's used for changing the boot process. All right, so let's go ahead and make those setting changes on all of them. I'm just going to add a WIC 2T to every single one of them real quick here. Okay, and there we go. Alright, let's go ahead and click on the cabling now. So you click on that little cable guy, and now that red X is there, that means we're in cable mode. So you can click on one, choose the port that you want to connect up. Here we go, we got a pop-up saying it want to connect to the network. So yes, it does try to connect to your network to use your network as a gateway to connect to other devices. So you could use other devices on your network using this. So you click on the port, and you click on the port you want to connect to. And can't do one here, we don't have enough serial port there. So let's just go ahead and click click on the serial port here. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. All right, there we go. It automatically selected it for me. Okay, so we're basically got a big ring of serial ports here, and you can look down here at the topology summary and it'll tell you what each router is connected to, what port it's connected to, what other router it's connected to. All right. So now at this point you have a nice little layout here. Oh, don't forget to uncheck this, yeah. And that will take you out of the cabling mode. All right. So you can arrange these a little bit here. You could do some different things here. Here's one. If you're doing like an OSPF lab, you can or any kind of lab where you're going to be setting up an AS autonomous system, you can go ahead and label it. I'm going to put OSPF area 0 here and drag that into there. Let me get in there a little bit. There we go. Oop, oop. All right, going to drag that in there. That looks nice. So now that we got a circle there, you can actually mess with the settings on the circle too. I can change the colors. I'm going to make it orange. And click OK, and then you go ahead and change the border color and make that orange as well. I'm going to change the border width. I can make the border style solid. I'm going to click on OK here. Alright, see now a nice orange circle here, but you see your serial connection is disabled or gone. So we're just going to lower this in the back layer, and now we see everything. So the circle's on the back layer now. And this is all just like a visual, logical layout of everything the way it is in this virtual environment. So now we've pretty much all set here with our little virtual network here. So what we could do next is we can go over and we could start the routers here by clicking this green arrow, and this will start up all the routers. And you could see down in the right hand side on the bottom, the topology summary, it shows them all going green, and they're all coming up here now. Alright, so now you could go over to control and then console connect to all devices, and if you're using PuTTY, it'll go ahead and pop up 5 routers, and now we're connected to the consoles of all 5 routers. So as you can see here, we can type in commands just like it was a regular router, because it actually is emulating. So I could do a show run, and we can see the current config. Now if you look in here, you can see that the emulator actually adds some pretty cool commands here to the consoles. The exec timeout will stop it from timing out on you. The privilege level 15 will make you automatically go to privilege level, and the logging synchronous will, when commands are scrolling through, will make you automatically go to the next line without interrupting your typing. So it does those on the console and aux ports.
Recording started.
Alright, so as we scroll up here, you can see that the serial interfaces automatically get entered a clock rate. And you can see it automatically sets them to 2 million. But you can go in there and later and change that. And it adds no IP domain lookup, so anyone who's ever typed in the wrong command and it sat there and hung trying to look it up, doing a DNS search for it, knows that pain. So that's a good command to be automatically entered as well. So alright, so let's go ahead and show what it's like to save a project. So you just go ahead and click on Save Project, and it will save the project for you. But before we do that, actually, let's go ahead and write some config in here, some new config. So config T, we'll go into an interface of FA00, and we'll give it an IP address. And subnet mask. And we'll go ahead and bring it up. Alright. Alright, and I just wrote the memory, so now that copy run start took effect. It said building configuration. Okay, all right, so we're good to go. So now we can see how this saves the configurations. All right, and at this point we go ahead and click on File and Save Project, and it's going to say you want to save your devices and captures. You want to name it. All right, you name it whatever you want. You can name it the project you're working on, or the lab name, or whatever you want. It'll create a folder structure in the directory with those files, and we're going to go ahead and click on the Save NVRAMs, including the EtherSwitch VLANs and cryptokeys. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And we don't need the other ones unless you want to save your traffic captures or the unbase the images. If you did traffic captures, you're going to want to do that, yes. And you just click on OK. And you can see down the bottom there, it showed you in that window there that it saved them. But let's go ahead and look at the file structure itself. And GNS3. Configs. There's the file name, folder name we configured, and here's all the files. Now you can open one of these up. They're not associated by default, but you can select the program, and I choose Notepad. Notepad's fine. You could use Notepad++ or WordPad or whatever you want. All right, and so here it is. Here's an actual real Cisco config from a router, and you can scroll down. You can see there it is. You know, we have the config that we created, and it's saved right there.
Recording started.
All right, so we can close this out here. Let's go back up one space here, and let's look at this right here. This is an image right here called topology. It's actually a screenshot or a picture of the topology that we created, which is good if you're creating projects or doing them for you know, for purposes of keeping track later on and reviewing them. You can see the picture. Here's the file images that it's using to create the virtual environment, and you don't want to mess with those. And of course the configs directory we talked about earlier. Alright, so here's the images directory. This is where it saves the files for the routers. And so let's go ahead and stop all the configs here. Stop all the routers from running. Just click on Stop All Devices, and that stopped them all. And I'm going to go ahead and save the project. Actually, we did that earlier. Let's just close out of everything here, and we'll start up GNS3 again. Alright, and you can go ahead and click on Don't Show Me This again. GNS3 1.0 is supposed to be the new thing that's coming out. Should include switches. We'll see. Alright, so we can open the project. There's the one we're working on. Go to the topology, open it back up, click Open, and give it a second. Alright, so there's our project again. Alright, so now we can go ahead and start all devices up. Getting there. Alright. Alright, so now we can go ahead and let's just go ahead and open up router 5, because that's the only one we made a change to. And let's go ahead and do a show run as soon as this is done doing its thing. There we go, show run. Okay, and now we should be able to see that our config saved properly, and there it is. There's our FA00 that has an IP address that we assigned to it. So that's how you can bring it back up and save your work and come back later. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're just going to save the project again. And that shows you right down there in the console. This is what I was talking about. It's actually saving the config files to that folder. You can see that all right down there.
Recording started.
Alright, so let's go ahead and open up the switch module section over here, and you can see that there's some different types of switches here, but we're going to use the Ethernet switch. So let's go ahead and drag one of those onto the topology area, and we can close out that window so we get some more room. And let's go ahead and stretch this out a little bit. Now I believe there's some labs in the CCNP level that require a multi-access broadcast network, and that would require having Ethernet or layer 2 technology to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect some of these routers to a switch. We're going to go ahead and plug them all there. Okay, and what we did is we plugged router 1 and 2 into ports 1 and 2, and I think 3 and 4 into, or 3 and 5 into ports 3 and 4 on the switch. So right now they're all in the same VLAN, so they're all able to communicate with each other at a layer 2 level. But we want to stop that. We don't want that to happen. So you go into the switch configuration here, and you can see it's got 8 ports, and the only ability these switches have is the ability to do layer 2 and VLAN sectioning. That's it. There's no other switch capabilities as of yet. So what we can do in here is we can go and let's go ahead and just double click on the port right there, and we're going to leave it port 1 in VLAN 1 right now. We're going to leave port 2 in VLAN 1 as well. But port 3 and 4 we want to have in a different, oh, actually you can configure them as trunks as well, I'm sorry. But yeah, port 3 and 4 we're going to change up. So we'll make port 3 2 for VLAN 2 and port 4 in VLAN 2 as well. And you just click on add, and that adds them to the correct VLAN. So you can see that right there. And that's all you can do with this. So we've actually sectioned off 2 routers into 2 separate VLANs, 4 routers into 2 separate VLANs, excuse me, sorry. Alright, so let's take a look at the supported hardware. You can see here they use they will support 1700s, 26s, 36s, 3700s, 7200s. As I mentioned earlier, 3725 is my preferred one. Make sure you're using the T version for CCNP level stuff because there's new commands that are out there. Supports Catalyst switches, very limited. PIX firewalls, ASAs, 5520s up to 802, and there's also support for Juniper routers, and you can see on number 11 below that says hosts. It will support VirtualBox appliances. You can set up a Linux server or whatnot that'll be accessible through your environment through the VirtualBox add-in. Alright, well that will wrap up this video. So with that said, this is a picture here of me. My name is Lou Tanga. You can contact me at louis.tanga@gmail.com, ltanga@fscj.edu, where I teach Cisco classes, or at the LinkedIn link below, which is my LinkedIn profile. Thank you for viewing. Have a great day.